Now, please join me in welcoming our speaker, the President of Tokyo Lease Corporation, Eri Hayashi.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Eri Hayashi, President of Tokyo Lease Corporation. I'm running this company for 52 years, but not myself, not that old. Today, I'd like to speak about a sustainable lifestyle and the city of Edo. In 1972, a crew of Apollo 17 took this photo on the mission to the moon. This is also called the blue marble, fully illuminated because the sun is behind this planet. When we look at the sky, it looks like it's vast and infinite, but the reality is, it is covered by the thin layer of the atmosphere, and there we are spewing 162 tons of man-made global warming pollutions into this thin shell of the atmosphere every 24 hours. As if it were a normal sewer. And this pollution is mainly carbon dioxide, which traps the heat from the sun. 93% of the extra heat trapped by the man-made global warming pollution goes into the ocean and heated. Because of the heated ocean, there are more evaporation, which cause more powerful typhoons, like Typhoon Faxai, which devastated the coastal area of Chiba and Kanagawa on September 9, 2019. In Chiba, my family has a farmhouse, and on the day of the typhoon, the strong gust of wind blew off the roof and walls of a house. When I came into the house, I was so shocked, and I realized we are already affected with the climate change, and we need to do something. And I was searching for the answer, and I came across the city of Edo, the sustainable city. So let's see what they are doing. On 1603, the Tokugawa Ieyasu won the Battle of Sekigahara against Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and he established the Tokugawa shogunate in Edo, which we now call Edo. The Tokugawa shogunate continued until 1868. It was a quite long time, and the economy was quite stable. And the people enjoyed peaceful lives because there was not much war. But Tokugawa shogunate was very strict about the trading policy. They are not allowed to have the importing or exporting to other countries. The only place allowed to do trading is a small island called Dejima, which is located off Nagasaki in Kyushu area. So the people in Japan have to be self-sufficient and make most of the things they already have. And there are many traders who help them recycle. The used clothes market was very popular, but for commoners, kimono was very expensive. So when the kimono is worn out, they never thrown away, they recycled, and it's too worn out to recycle. They cut into small pieces and used as floor cloth. And if the floor cloth is too worn out, they are burned to ashes, but they are not thrown away. Look at this very interesting job which we cannot find nowadays. But ash buyer, they bought ash from the homes and they sold the ash to the farmers because farmers used ash for the fertilizer. And ash was also used to dye fabrics and as detergent because of the strong alkaline. And the paper was also precious. This is a profession called used paper buyer. They bought the paper from the houses, and they also picked up the paper from the street. And it was collected and brought to the manufacturer to make recycled paper. At the time, the paper was really expensive. So in Kerogoya, which is a temple school, there is a record that one arithmetic textbook was used 109 years. We don't use book for 100 years. And tinker, ikageya, this is a profession to patch the hull of the pots, pans, and kettles. They even use the broken porcelains. They put into one piece using the melted glass powder used as an adhesive. Temple brick buyer. This is a very stingy profession, but candle was really expensive at the time. They shaved the drip of the candle, collected, and made recycled candles. Because the Edo period was peaceful, the warrior, the samurai, didn't have much opportunity to serve as a warrior, so they have to make money by repairing umbrella. The umbrellas were made of the bamboo and paper. Kagaya is a profession to fix the hook of the taps and the piles and buckets. In Kaga means this part. And this was mostly made of the skin of the bamboo. And here you can see the root of the Kaga. This is the printing of Katsushika Hokusai, quite famous. So inside the tab, you can see Mount Fuji. Even human waste was recycled in Edo era. The farmers went each homes to buy human waste, and they paid money or the vegetables they had grown. When walking a busy street, people have to be very careful not to bump to the farmer with a tap, because you will smell like the countryside perfume, which is manure. The people in Edo are also frugal in energy-wise. Farmers living in countryside might have more abundant firewood, but in a city they have to save firewood. So it's used small fire heating devices called hibachi and kotatsu. Hibachi is this one, made of wood, and inside is an iron liner. And kotatsu is a heating device made with the table-shaped devices with futon on it. And inside is a small hibachi. You may notice a cat on the kotatsu. They love heating a very cozy place of a house. My family also loved play mahjong on kotatsu in winter time. The transportation was also sustainable. The land transportation was mainly done by the host and the mago. Mago is a person who took care of the horses, and they were not allowed to go beyond their territory. And you may notice that the horses are wearing the cute shoes. This is called waraji. And the iron shoes were not available until the Meiji Restoration. More larger transportation of the transportation for the heavier items like rice and sake, boat with a wind power was used. This is a replica of the Benzai Sen, and the luggage from the the sailed boat, arrived to the port of Edo and transferred to the smaller boat called Takasegune, and they were delivered up the river and canals and to the various quiet places like Edo Castle and other smaller ports. We can also see Mount Fuji here. But the sustainable Edo period came to the end when the Commodore Matthew Perry, who came from the United States and asked the Edo shogunate to open up the country to begin the trading with the United States. Japanese people have the history of not good at facing with Western people. That is basically the same. And the shogunate, Tokugawa shogunate, went into turmoil. And there was two big clans in Kyushu, Satsuma and Choshu. Choshu is in Honshu area, but they are very close. And these two allies tried to force the Edo shogunate to return the power to the emperor called Meiji. So this is called Meiji Restoration. This person are trying to cease fire without fighting the shogunate, return the power to the emperor. So that was the end of the Edo period. The sustainable time was over. And after Meiji period, Japan opened the country to the Western world. And new technologies rushed in, like brick buildings, and railways, steamboats, factories. The lifestyles of people changed drastically. And the emission of the CO2 from the fossil fuel, mainly at that time as coal, was drastically increased. So, can we be sustainable like people of Edo? Partly, yes, but our lives are quite different. So maybe we can see what we can do to be sustainable. We also have the recycle shop for the clothes. There are big two brands like Second Street, which have the flagship store in Harajuku, and Mode Off, which also is a chain store and available in many parts of Tokyo and Japan. But in Japan, in 1 year, 2.9 billion clothes were supplied to the market. The new clothes were supplied to the market, but half of them remain unsold. What do you think they go? They were all thrown away to keep the brand value. And nowadays, there are some of the companies who want to buy these branded clothes by hiding the brand and sell in a lower price to be sustainable. So that's very good. Mr. Minutes is a store to repair the shoes, bags, and umbrellas. And you can find this shop near Roppongi, Azabujuban, and many other places. How many of you know the Mr. Minutes? Good, excellent. I use this shop when my umbrella is broken, because there is no warrior to fix them. Recycling of paper. We do recycle the paper like Edo period, but we use a lot more paper than the people of Edo. We do recycle, but there's a problem. When you make the recycled paper, for example, to make 1 ton of recycled paper, 1.5 ton of carbon dioxide is emitted. So it is very important to decrease the amount of paper we use. But still, recycling helps to reduce the amount of cutting the trees in the mountains and clearing the forest. The plastics, of course, they were not available in the Edo period. It was invented in the United States in late 19th centuries and widely available after the World War II. When I was a child, when I went to the stores, vegetables and fruits were not wrapped. And my mother used to carry a basket to put these things. And fish and meat are wrapped in paper, not in plastics. But now, in the supermarket, most of the products are packed in plastic packages. There are several cities who collect plastics, but what is going to be after that? Like this? About 1/3 will be recycled. Of course, that also emit carbons to recycle. But the sad thing is, the other part of the plastic which was not recycled as plastic products were used as thermal recycle, meaning they're burned as fuels. Renting things needed for limited time save carbon emissions instead of buying new things and throw away. For example, with a baby's born, when we buy the baby bed or baby mattress, how long do you use them? Just a very short period of time. So if you rent it, it saves a lot of CO2. Our store, Tokyo Mist Corporation, rent furniture and appliances to the expats who came from the overseas to Japan, living 2 or 3 years. The good thing about the furniture rental is when they go away, they don't need to worry about throwing them away. We pick up everything with just phone call or email, so it's much easier when you are leaving. And after renting the furniture, we pick up the furniture and there are shampoo, cleaned and fixed, and if needed, repaired or upholstered. So we have quite large warehouses in Tokyo. Reducing the amount of the carbon is not enough to stop the climate crisis. We need to reduce the carbon already in this atmosphere. So I thought it is a good idea to plant tomatoes on a container garden on the roof of our showroom. In summer, we could harvest tomatoes fresh from our garden. Although the amount of CO2 we can absorb in the small container is quite limited, but if many people try to do the same, try to think about our nature, that will make a difference. Because of the coronavirus, we used to have a lot of customers coming from abroad, but because of the coronavirus, we couldn't get much customer coming into Japan. But many of the customers went back to home. That left us in a very difficult situation. We have to pick up a lot of furniture every day, and that made our warehouse very, very full. So we needed to find a place to put the furniture, which are also coming back. We rented new warehouse near the airport, Haneda Airport, but that was not enough. So we built the larger warehouse in Kisarazu City in Chiba Prefecture. It took half a year. We've also installed a solar power on the roof. And now it's helping to cool our warehouse. We're also selling the part of the electricity. By the way, not far from the warehouse, there are farmers who are selling electricity with a thin solar panels and also selling the agricultural products. The thin solar panels can allow the sunlight to come down, but you can see the sunshade, half shade from the sun. And this shade is very important. Some plants grow better under the partial shade. And the good thing about the blueberries is their harvest season is summer, August. So when the farmers pick up the blueberries, or the visitors pick up the blueberries, they won't get heat stroke because of the half shade. But it's a good idea, because Japan does not have much space to put the solar panels on the ground. 70% of our land, total country's land, is forest. So I don't like the idea of cutting trees. Instead, we can use a farmland, install this kind of shade, and grow the vegetables and harvest also the electricity. So this idea is called solar sharing and getting widely available all over Japan. And this is also good for the young people who left the countryside, because just farming is not enough to live. So the extra money was selling the electricity is good to have the more population in the countryside. So this is, we celebrated 50th anniversary on 2019. I wanted to show the newer video, but because of the coronavirus, we did not have the opportunity to visit their homes. So let's please watch the video.
We are from Seattle, Washington, and we will be in Japan for 2 years. How did we feel when we first came to Japan? Tired. It was a lot of work to move, a lot of work. But once we were here, we were excited. We have a little 5-year-old boy named Emerson, and it's such a wonderful opportunity for him. Life in Japan, it is a lot of walking and riding bikes. Seattle, we used cars a lot, and we didn't have a very good subway system. So the first few months here with a little 5-year-old, lots of walking. Great exercise. However, still lots of walking in subways. So when I finally got a Mama Chen, I was very, very happy, and I think I'll miss it so much if I don't get to bring that bike back to Seattle. It is so much fun. We live in the Roppongi area, so lots of expats live here. And the language is not so much a barrier, not as much as I thought it would be. I was mostly worried the subways would be really hard to read, but they're somewhat easy. So the language is not as hard here for us right now, because we're lucky to live in this area. For me, honestly, the really difficult thing is healthy food is very important to my family, and I can't always read the labels on the food packages. That is truly the most challenging thing for me. But I do love that all the food is from local regions, so that's very similar to the way we ate in Seattle. And I love that I know that our Canadians are from Hokkaido. So it's wonderful. That's a great part. when we first saw this apartment, I came into this room. This room attracted me so much because this closet had doors on it. And I thought, oh, what a wonderful space to have as a little bed. You know, little kids, they love special places to sleep. And so we took the doors off and stored them downstairs. And Kitamura-san found the right size mattress for me. And that's the story of life in Japan for Emerson and Doraemon. They sleep in this bed every night and they love it. They absolutely love it. Omedetou gozaimasu, Tokyo Lease. I am so happy I had the chance to work with you. I look forward to working with you again. Anytime something is needed. This was the best experience for us. I love my furniture. I hope I get to keep some of it. Congratulations.
Thank you very much for watching the video. Lastly, I'd like to show you the picture of Tsukubai water basin, which is in Ryorachi Temple in Kyoto. And this Tsukubai has 4 Chinese characters and have a common part in the center. This part means mouth, and this Chinese character means eye. And this Chinese character means only, and this Chinese character means no, nourish, and this Chinese character means food or enough. So altogether it means I just know what enough is. This is the teaching of Zen. The people who is satisfied with what they have is rich. And the people who are not satisfied with what they have is poor, even if materially rich. We cannot live like the people of Edo. We cannot go back to the age of Edo. But the teaching of I just know what enough is still alive in the word mottainai, or what a waste. By making the most of what we already have, and treasures in nature, and our forest, I believe we can reverse the climate change. Thank you very much.
Ms. Hayashi, thank you very much for your presentation. Please give her a big hand once again. Thank you everyone for your participation, and please enjoy the rest of the day at Expo Tokyo. And the next session about the geisha culture will be held at 12:30 at this area. If time allows, please feel free to join us. Thank you.
And if you have any questions, please visit that booth near the entrance hall. Thank you.